Everyone has a story. Some are whispered in the quiet of night. Others echo across generations. But the best ones? They inspire, they challenge, they move us. Welcome to A Story to Tell, where history meets hope, where faith meets the real world, and where every tale points to something greater than ourselves. I'm your host, the storyteller, and in each episode, we uncover powerful, faith-filled stories of courage, redemption, purpose, and perseverance. Stories to steer your soul. Stories to share with your kids before bed. Stories you didn't know you needed until now. This isn't just another podcast. This is a story to tell. You know what the Bible says about Moses. You know about the baby in the basket, how he was drawn from the Nile by Pharaoh's daughter. You know about the burning bush and the plagues and the parting of the Red Sea. You've seen the movies, you've heard the sermons, you've read the stories, but you may not know the rest of this story. You see, Moses was born into danger. Pharaoh, fearing the rising strength of the Hebrews, had issued a death sentence for every newborn Hebrew boy. But Moses' mother, like so many mothers since, refused to give up without a fight. She hid him for 3 months. When she could hide him no longer, she entrusted him to God and the river. Perhaps the river would have been his grave, but instead, it became his cradle. Pharaoh's own daughter found him, loved him, and raised him as her own. So the boy who should have been drowned in the Nile was instead fed from Pharaoh's own table. Fast forward 40 years. Moses has grown up with the finest education Egypt could offer. But though he looked like a prince, he never forgot that he was a Hebrew. One day, he saw an Egyptian beating a Hebrew slave, and something inside Moses snapped. He killed the Egyptian and buried the body in the sand. He thought no one saw him, but someone did. Soon he was a fugitive, running for his life across the desert. He traded his royal robes for shepherd's wool and ended up in Midian, herding sheep, far from the palace, far from his people, and far, he thought, from any future that mattered. 40 years passed. He was 80 years old now, a forgotten man, an old shepherd with sand in his sandals and regret in his heart. And then God showed up. In a bush that burned but did not burn out, God spoke. The voice from the flame said, Moshe. He didn't ask Moses about his past. He didn't scold him for the murder or the mistakes or the miles he had wandered. He simply said, Go, I am sending you to Pharaoh. Set my people free. Moses argued. He stuttered. He was too old, too broken, too guilty. But God didn't choose him because he was perfect. He chose him because he was willing. And the man who once ran from Pharaoh stood before him. The man who said, I can't speak, became the voice of a nation. The man who doubted himself led millions to freedom. And the child who could have died in the river became the one who God used to part the sea. You may feel like your best days are behind you. You may carry regrets, missed opportunities, or mistakes too painful to name. But Moses' life says God can still use you. He can take the broken pieces, the desert years, the silent seasons, and make something eternal out of them. Moses didn't part the sea because he was strong. He did it because he trusted the one who called him. And that same God is still calling today. You don't need a perfect past. You just need a willing heart. Because when God is in the story, even rivers can become roads. And now that you know the rest of this story, you have a story to tell.